This video is sponsored by JNC Collectibles website at jnccollectibles.com. Be sure to check them out for all your TCG needs, from sealed products to sleeves to playmats. Link is in the description box below. Thank you, and back to the video.
Hello everyone, welcome to the JNC Collectibles channel. I'm Shunping, today bringing you another deck profile from a recent remote regional happened in the past weekend. So that being said, let's start with some shoutouts first. Shout out to my team JNC, fantastic team, fantastic teammates. Shout out to a few other sponsors, Dragon Ink and Dueling Guard, for providing very cool, amazing accessories. Remember to use code JNC5 on their website if you want to make any purchase there. And also, shout out to my own channel. In case you may or may not know, I post like short, condensed, like regular deck profiles on the JNC channel right after the tournament is concluded. However, on my own channel, which is my personal main channel, I do like relatively longer, more detailed version episode like kind of like series, which I've been uploading to almost 20 episodes at this point. So but those will take a little bit longer, so we'll see a little bit later with more like condensed, like more detailed information on everything. So that's pretty much all the shoutouts. Let's hop into the tournament that I concluded a few days ago. So I played in the Remote Duel Regional side deck. It was, we were actually struggled to break 200 people, but at the end we did. So it was very luckily this Remote Regional awarded 32 invites, which equivalent to up to 32 wool points. And then because it's 200 people, so we played 8 rounds, cut to top 32. I took one loss against Ruben, who ended up winning the tournament. It was a mirror, which is I drew worse hand than him. And that was my only loss. I finished X1 third place, which is about 30 wool points. Pretty good. So before I talk more about tournament, like matches, I guess I will do the deck first. So if you have watched me, my top 8 finish at YC's Indie, this is a very similar list as that. You probably gonna see a lot of things in common. First of all, is just Snake Eye portion, standard ratio, nothing really need to explain. And I do still play the Kash cards. I think despite there were a little bit more pure version doing better at YC's Indie, I still think Kash version is the better version to play in the format, or even especially in remote regionals where it's a little bit less competitive, so a little bit more rogue. The Kash card is very, very good against the rogue matchup, so I still prefer it. I think even in higher tournament, I will still play Kash, because like in a hand trap wars kind of situation in between Snake Eye Mirror, which happens a lot, Kash card still does more than you could imagine. So that's pretty much the monsters, like the ink engine. The rest of them just like hand trap. Not anything special. It's the ratio I've been playing since Indie. Just 2 Nib, 3 Ash, 2 Ogre, 3 Imperm. The real hand traps are only these 5. The bottom 5 are not really hand trap. I treat these more as ball breakers. However, they can, in specific situation, function like a hand trap, obviously. And then this is, I did mention I want to play Valor in my build during my Indie profile. But after adding it back and test a little bit, I ended up cutting it again. And I guess we'll mention what I really cut for Valors very soon. And then there are the spells, which also a lot of them are self-explanatory at this point, are standards. The Snake Eye portion, which just max out everything so I can see as many starter extenders as possible. And then the Kash cards, which is slightly different this time. I added another copy of Planet. Honestly, it's added so I can side out things easier, but out of like all the possible things I could, I think the second planet makes the most sense. It's also one of the strongest cards to add to my deck. And then, and yes, I did bump it up to 44 instead of I played 42 at Indy. And then last but not least, there are 2 pods kind of as a glue to paste everything together. And then talents and droplets. I also added a 3rd copy of droplet because I do kind of want to see droplet. It's also one of the strongest cards to see going second. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Math, as you know, the more copies in your deck, the less chance you see it. So during this remote regional, despite I now have 3 copies of droplet instead of 2, Andy, I think I saw droplet less often during that day. So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Math checks out. So yeah, this is the main deck, 44 cards, and I think Snake Eye is powerful enough that still functions perfectly at 44. I may have bricked once with just a Furnier beatdown, but it worked out after like a turn 2. So yeah, that's the main deck. Extra deck are the same, and then very standard at this point. It's just everything you could really imagine from a regular Kash tier Snake Eye deck. Don't really need to explain much about it. It's clear it's a whole part when you're here. And I think the only flex spot is yearly, which now everyone is playing it. I did consider if this would be better if it's Typhon or anything, but I still ended up liking yearly a lot more. Funny enough, because it was a remote regional, there were a lot of games. I think it happened like surprisingly twice or maybe even 3 times during that day in the remote regional. Because it's remote, a lot of people really don't respect zone placements. So I was randomly able to just summon Ely on like my top right extra deck zone, pointing to something random like in my opponent's, I guess this will be their first zone over there. So I kind of just checks this. I think I did this to a Zeus, just completely blocks it. And I think it happened to something else, but I just forgot. But it randomly, this pointing up arrow just randomly happens to be a lot more useful that day than usual, which is strange, but happened. So this was the extra deck. And then side is also pretty much the same. Time, Furnier, second copy Furnier, a lot of the take their shit kind of cards. One of the best card Metatron is. I only played 1 mirror, and I didn't see it at all, so it wasn't doing much that day. Lightning Storms for back row, and then the best floodgates left in the game, which probably should be gone next format. I mean, after next list. So yeah, the extra deck, the side deck were the same as my indie profile. It's just my main deck. I added 2 extra cards, so I was able to side in a little bit more like comfortable, I guess. So that's pretty much the whole deck. Let me go back to the standings, talk about some of the matchup. It was, because it was a remote regional, it definitely felt more rogue than ever. It was about, let me see, 8 rounds. I played 3 voiceless, 2 tempi, 1 lab, 1 purely, and then 1 snake eye mirror, which the snake eye mirror was my only loss to Ruben. And then, funny to say, I think, against that specific purely guy, I made the eerily targeting his Zeus at one point, so because he waited a bit too long, and then surprisingly it just worked out. And I think that's pretty much it. Against both Tempis, I lost game 1 because their hands was crazy, but game 2 and 3 were the more vulnerable match for them, and then it was backdoor both of them. And then I think that's pretty much it. Nothing really special. Like, all the voiceless were scary, but end was being manageable. So that's about it. So pretty much summarize the entire remote regional. I got 30 points for being 3rd place. That pretty much guarantees me to be qualified for the top 16 at the playoff. So I am very happy about it. However, I will still go to some of the regionals because it's very close to me. I think the next stop will be Philadelphia regional in the incoming weekend. And so if you're going to spot me there, remember to say hi. So that being said, I hope you like this video. Remember, subscribe to both JNC channel and my own channel, Shunping Lab. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.